Well, hello everybody, and welcome to our next segment. Our interview today is going to be with Annette Brevard. Annette is a senior executive at Pella Corporation. And the industry we want to feature today is manufacturing. Pella is a big manufacturer of windows, among other things, and place them in residential and commercial buildings all over the world. Manufacturing has gone through a reduction in size over the last 30 years as corporations have moved overseas to find cheaper labor. Pella, to a certain degree, has bucked that trend, and they're a proud employer here in Iowa. So we'll be interviewing Annette. We'll talk to her about manufacturing in general, and specifically Pella Corporation, and what they've done here in the past and what they see as they move forward. All right, well, this is Jeff Miller, and I welcome Annette Brevard. Annette Brevard is the Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing and Residential for Pella Corporation. We're here in the the Pella Showcase Room here in West Des Moines. We want to talk about manufacturing today, and Annette's been with Pella for 10 years. Why don't you just give us a little background about Pella Windows?
Sure. Well, good morning. So Pella Windows and Doors are out of Pella, Iowa. It's a family-owned business that's been in operation over 90 years. So we had the honor of celebrating our 90th anniversary this year.
Outstanding.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And so what we do is we compete in the residential market and the commercial market. So if we think about our business, about 75% is residential. When I mean residential, it's new home construction, it's R&R, remodeling and replacement. And then commercial is all the multifamily building and also the high rises, all the curtain wall storefront that you see in the marketplace. So 75-25. We have manufacturing facilities, 9 different manufacturing facilities. Majority of those are in Iowa, but we also have manufacturing in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Murray, Kentucky, and Portland, Oregon.
Along that line, as we've seen in manufacturing, there's been a big decline in the number of employees here in this country over the last 30 years as corporations have shifted their manufacturing facilities overseas for less expensive labor. Obviously, Pella has bucked that trend and hasn't felt a need to go in that direction. Can you tell us why?
Yeah, we're proud of the fact that we have no offshore manufacturing. And what's unique about Pella is that we've become very vertically integrated as a company, but we've also, when you think about home construction, the windows are the showcase of the home. And the windows are what the architects and designers really allow that home to be different than your neighbors. And so every window's customized. And so when we think about our ability, every one of our units is customizable, whether it's from the Miller home, it's the Brevard home, it's your units running down the line. That's been a high barrier for entry for competitors to come in from offshore, but it's also what allows us to have really short lead times and compete here in the U.S.
Oh, that's terrific. So, we've been in this kind of a manufacturing, I would say, uptick maybe over the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. And that's good for the economy, it's good for the United States. Manufacturing represents maybe 15% of the marketplace right now. As you've seen, Pella, we went through this housing debacle in 06, 07, 08, and so forth, really fell dramatically, and you might want to speak to that. Since that time, how have we seen production pick up at Pella and in the industry as a whole?
Yeah, so when we think about the housing industry, 2006 to the peak, and 2011 is when it started to rebound for the industry itself. From that time frame to 06 from 2011, the market dropped 75%. So now, what we've seen from 12 on is we've seen a really nice pickup, but we're still 25% below historical levels. Now, if we think about it, we've been fortunate enough to participate in that. And so when we've had some really nice growth over the past 4 years, and we've had a really nice movement back in historical profitability. So we made some tough calls during the downturn, and we made some tremendous investments to position us well to coming out of that. So we increased introduced new product lines, a new vinyl line, a new fiberglass line, and extended our wood line, which allowed us to compete well in the marketplace and continue to maintain and gain share during that time period.
Wood windows has been a staple of Pella Corp for the 90 years, with just the vinyl here in the last 3, 4, 5 years.
That's right. So wood is our heritage. So we think about Pete Kuiper was our founder back in 1925. He started with a roll screen. So the unique idea of a roll screen, so you could roll out the screen to cover bugs and flies from your home. Then he went into wood products from there. And so wood is our heritage, but as we thought about the marketplace and where we compete well, we needed something in the lower price point. So for opening price point homes or mid price point homes, so that's why we introduced the vinyl products to help us compete, and then also took some wood products down market as well to help us compete with all those different price continuums.
Excellent. So obviously a lot of variety here. Lastly, we're talking about manufacturing because they represent a lot of jobs, a lot of corporations. that are in that business, whether it's in manufacturing of windows or steel or anything along those lines. Now, in Iowa, Pella started 90 years ago. How many employees in the state of Iowa? Could you speak to that?
Well, we have 6,000 employees overall.
Okay, good.
So I'm not quite sure how many are here, but in Pella itself, we have over 3,000 employees, but overall we have over 6,000 employees.
Now, let me ask you this. It's kind of a sidebar. In terms of healthcare, how has the evolution of healthcare in the last 2 to 3 years affected your fixed costs? Because I'm sure if you're looking at, you know, everything that you do, and you look at all these manufacturers going overseas, and you've not done that yet, but you have to keep a lid on costs to one way or another in order to be competitive. How has healthcare factored into that?
Yeah, well, two strategies we've used as a company to get after that. The first is we started a wellness program probably 6 years ago, where every employee gets an annual physical. So it's at the company cost. They come in and we do a health screening for the employees themselves, and also within the last couple of years we've added the spouses. That's helped us really can maintain costs, and it's preventative, catch things early. So when we go look at our overall cost, it's all of the big catastrophic things that really drive our overall healthcare costs. So having those health screenings, has been really good for us.
Good.
The second element is we're self-insured. So again, wisely, years ago, we decided to take on all that insurance ourselves. And so we've been able to really keep those down to single digits, very low single digits increases. But it's something that we know that's put us a competitive advantage and not have huge price increases, because we've been able to keep that medical cost under control.
Excellent. All right. Well, lastly, as we move forward, where do you think, you have any specific markets that you're looking at, or any niches you're trying to break into, or where do you think Pella Corp will be in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, so it's interesting. It's a good question, because when we think about our market, we're split in the residential business between 50% new construction and 50% replacement, remodeling and replacement. Yeah. We really feel the remodeling and replacement segment is the one that's most robust, the one we're going to go after strategically in the marketplace. We feel that there's a lot of old windows out there. So if you think about it, there's 30-year-old windows. The majority of homes in the U.S. still have single pane, 30-year-old windows. So if we think about, we're going to go after that space because we know we can help reduce energy costs, we can be more efficient, and we can also help the aesthetics, comfort, and beauty of that home. So that's really the market we'll go after on the residential side. Now the commercial business, which is also just on fire for us, we'll go after multiple different things there. We're looking at multifamily, which is still really strong, apartment housing, robust, but there's also a lot of new big buildings going in, whether it's educational, funded, and then we're still really hot in that market as well.
One last sidebar on that. I know the utility companies, if you remodel your home and you put in more efficient appliances, and I would assume windows would come into that as well. I know in the building that we're at, the Knapp building, they're replacing all their lighting. In Mid-America, they're going to have all their money back within 2 years.
Right.
Is there a kind of a co-op with the utility companies with windows as well?
With the government funding, that program has gone away. And so the last time there was a tax credit on windows was 2010, and it exploded. So if we saw a tax credit come back, it would be a good use of the dollars, because we saw a lot of new units go in 2010. But the government funding in that has really cut in the last few years. But there's still enough savings that we're taking that message direct to the consumers. There's plenty of energy savings with opportunities with replacing your windows.
Excellent. So there you have it, a little background on the manufacturing, Pella Corp in particular. I want to thank you, Annette, for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You bet.